Drip too hard, don't stand too close. You around and drown off this way. Doing all these shows, I've been on the road. I don't care where I go, long as I get paid.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money,
Maybach music.
I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
My parents taught me that you should be humble and respectful, and I took those teachings and applied them on a daily basis. But the people who attended my school were Stevie Wonder to this and used to flex more than Lil Tay and Tekashi 69. Once upon a time, school was a place where people went to get an education, but school did a whole 180 like Zion Williamson, and now people start treating school like a reality TV show. So the only reason people come to school nowadays is to be in a relationship, fight, and the most important one is to see who can flex harder. So today we will be talking about the different types of flexers in school. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and hit that subscribe button for more videos like this. Also, join the Discord server if you want to be more active in the community. Alright, that's enough of the yap. Let's get into the video. The first thing we have to talk about is the people who flex their phone. Dog, I feel like some of these individuals who went to my school work for Apple or Samsung because they knew more about phones than Steve Jobs, and they constantly had phone wars, and this would be the same debate every single time. iPhone or Samsung. Why does it matter what type of phone I decide to bring to school? It's not like it's gonna turn into a transformer. The only thing I'm doing is making calls and scrolling social media, and most of the time these people will clown you for having an Android phone. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people get laughed at more than Christopher Moltisanti for owning an Android phone. Dog, you could have the newest model of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra that just got released 2 days ago, and these people who are laughing at you have an iPhone 6 with a broken screen and still have the nerve to say,
"You ain't nothing but a broke boy, 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 boy."
Yo, these people would go to war like Tony Montana over having a different phone. And the one thing I find cringy was the people who flex having a phone that is 1 year older than yours. Dog, I could have an iPhone 15 Pro Max and these individuals would have a 16 Pro Max and think they're Elon Musk. They would start telling us about the specs on their phone like they're Tim Cook. The iPhone 16 Pro Max features a slightly larger 6.9-inch screen with slimmer bezels, an A18 Pro chip with better efficiency, and a new dedicated capture.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Dog, it's Apple. They're literally making the same phone every single year. But the only time that I could actually agree with the phone debate is if you have a phone where the battery can come out. Dog, it's 2025. Why are you still able to take your battery from your phone? I remember there was this one time I was in school and this one guy had a phone that you could take the battery out of. And when it was lunchtime, the phone spontaneously combusted like fire force. But the people who flex their phone need to just shut up and mind their own business. So I will give the people who flex their phone a negative 506,281 out of 10. Unfortunately, we have to talk about the designer god. If you watch these videos, then you know how I feel about the people who wear designer clothing to school. They thought that wearing something that costs $1,000 would make them better than everyone. The most common brands they wore to school are Louis Vuitton belt, Spider hoodie, Purple jeans, Dior, Balenciaga track LED shoes, and Essential hoodies. I remember there was this one kid who came to school looking like he was ready to save Gotham. He was wearing Balenciaga track LED shoes, purple jeans, and a black Essential hoodie with a Nike ski mask. Dog, if I squinted my eyes, I swear, it felt like I was looking at Darth Vader. And of course, he had to bring his lightsaber, which was the light up Balenciaga shoes. To the designer gods, wearing the LED shoes was a big deal. Let me explain using Naruto terminology. The people who wear the regular Balenciaga shoes is like having a 3-tome Sharingan, while the LED shoes is like having the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. But this was often a feat that not a lot of designer gods could achieve. So if you actually have these shoes, shoes, then you're seen as the Omega boss. I feel like instead of buying a $2,000 light up shoes, you guys could have budgeted your money and bought some Skechers. But for some reason, it felt like the designer gods who went to my school had inbuilt Sharingan and Byakugan, because they could look at your outfit and tell that it was fake without even checking the tag. I swear, if these individuals put more time into studying than looking at people's outfit, they would be smarter than Albert Einstein. But the one thing I find cringy is the people who sag their pants all the way down to their ankle, especially when they have a $2,000 belt around their waist. And the reason why these people do this is because it's a trend. These people can't think for themselves, so just like Disney, they copy and paste what everyone else is doing. Dog, just pull up your pants. No one wants to see them PSD underpants. We also need to talk about the individuals who flex fake designer. Dog, these people come to school and think you're the most well dressed. But let me tell you something, if you're going to wear fake designer clothing, then you have to be very discreet. Do not go around and start telling people the price you paid for all your outfit, because that's when the real designer gods start spawning out of nowhere like some Minecraft mob spawner. Yo, these people would be more meticulous than brain surgeon and examine every single fiber material to check if it was made in the United States of America or China. And if it's made with polyester, at that point, transfer to a different school. But to be fair, none of this would have happened if you guys listened to what Kendrick Lamar said. Be humble. Hold on. Sit down. Be humble. We also need to talk about the people who wear jewelry to school. Alright, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem if you wear chains, watches, and earrings. In most cases, it complements the outfit. But some of these individuals are doing way too much and start looking like Mansa Musa. They used to wear more jewelry than a pimp. They acted like they bought their chains from Icebox and it was personally made by Johnny Dane. Dog, you literally bought that from inside the mall. You did not drop 10 bands for each of them. And these people treated their $150 watch like a Rolex. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they could turn into aliens, because the way that these people used to wear their watch 24/7, it felt like it was stuck on their wrist like the Omnitrix. But by far the cringiest thing I've seen these individuals do is wear diamond grill to school. You might think I'm exaggerating, but there were kids in my school who used to wear grills in their mouth like their NLE chopper. They used to show it off more than Jara Zeppeli, and these people used to think that having every single piece of Exodia would make girls chase them like Justin Bieber, but in reality, they don't give a fuck. Well, in some cases, it does better a chance of getting girls, but the type of girls you'll be attracting are what Kanye West told us about. I ain't saying she a gold, I'm in need, but she ain't messing with no broke. So I would give the designer gods a negative 1,256,852 out of 10. The next thing we have to talk about is the people who flex cars. One of the only good things about being in high school is the fact that we're old enough to get our driver's license and start driving to school. I wasn't that privileged enough to experience that, but some of these individuals in my school used to be richy because their parents were richer than Elon Musk, because they were able to drive to school and buy cars. And to be fair, some of these individuals used to be some of the coolest people because they actually pick you up from school and drop you off. But some of these individuals used to be very annoying. They used to say, imagine taking the bus in big 2025, could not be me. They would walk around the entire school wearing a Lululemon keychain with the car key in their hands and start spinning it more than a fidget spinner. Then these people start talking like mechanics, saying, my car is a 2022 Mercedes-Benz GLE AMG 63 with a V8 engine and 603 horsepower. And to be fair, it's cool that you're able to drive this car, but the reason why most of these people drove to school was to impress the girls. I remember there was this one time when there was a prom at my school, and the people from my school must have found Pablo Escobar's hidden treasure, because the cars that these people were driving made my jaw drop like NL. They were driving to prom in German engineering, Maseratis, Corvettes, SRTs, and Porsche. But turns out they leased the car for one day, and when these people told me the price they paid to rent it out for one night, I just said, Bumbleclad. Yo, these people spend more money on leasing this car than on their entire outfit. But hey, P1 cleaner than your church shoes, huh? But overall, these people are vice versa. It depends on how humble they are. So I will give them a 5 out of 10. we also need to talk about the girl flexers. In school, you would see girls flex every single thing they have in possession, but unlike the guys, they were more discreet. We have the girls who used to flex clothing. These girls used to pull up in more Dior, Gucci, and Balenciaga than Kim Kardashian, and these girls were like Halley's Comet because seeing them wear the same outfit twice was once in a lifetime. And to be honest, I know what they're wearing is more authentic than the guys, and the girls who went to my school took this to another level and started bringing designer handbags like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Dog, I understand that it's your life, but in what situation do you require a $10,000 purse to put your books in and a writing utensil? But to be honest, these girls did not come to school to learn. They just came here to get more boyfriends than Ruby Rose and make the other girls jealous. And the craziest thing is that these girls do not work a single day in their life to attain these material objects. Instead, they find someone who spends money on them and spoils them more than Pacific and Northwest. And I don't know what level of simp you have to be to buy a girlfriend designer. I remember there was this one girl who had a boyfriend who treated her like she had a crown on her head. Yo, he bought her the most lavish and exquisite clothing brand I've ever seen. He would buy her one of those couture fur cozy luxury shaggy shearling coats, and she used to walk around in that fur coat like Doflamingo. But by far the worst type of girl flexers are the ones who used to flex food. If you watch this video, then you know how I feel about the girls who used to eat in class. Anyways, they used to come to class with a big brown paper bag with fast food, and they used to do this on purpose because I know damn well you could have finished your lunch before coming here, but they made sure to eat this in class and infected the class with the smell of fast food that made me start drooling more than chowder. We also have the girls who used to flex by buying Starbucks and bubble tea. I don't know why these girls used to be obsessed with Starbucks. They used to constantly post on their Instagram story talking about, just stopped at Starbucks today, got myself a Barbie Frappuccino. And these girls used to always give you the stink face and act more bougie than Kylie Jenner. They had more ego than a Blula character. They always talk trash about other girls. They used to say, I heard that Vanessa got done by her boyfriend, haha. And speaking of laughing, this used to be the most annoying sound I've ever heard being produced by a human being. They acted like the most infuriating and unlikable people and expected every man to treat them like Cleopatra. But overall, these girls are some of the worst people I've ever had the experience of encountering. So I would give them a negative 124,365 out of 10. The most annoying and aggravating people I've ever seen are the ones who used to flex that they go to the gym. Alright, we get it. You go to the gym, you can bench Dave Blunts. I'm not a hater. If you used to look like Pink Panther or Nick Avocado and you actually put in the work in the gym and start looking like John Cena, then I have to give you the respect. But these individuals will constantly bring it up, and they always told you how much they could bench. They acted like they were the strongest man in the world, like Mark Henry. The gym flexers constantly bother you by saying, yo bro, do you want to arm wrestle? Dog, we know you're going to win. But these individuals treated this friendly game of arm wrestling like the World Cup final, and even when there was a clear disadvantage in the opponent they were facing, they would make sure to slam their opponent's arm on the table as hard as possible. We all know what these individuals used to wear. They used to wear compression t-shirt and wear a tight black polo t-shirt like Johnny Bravo, and most of these people thought that having more muscles than Ronnie Coleman would make every single girl faint like Johnny Test. So overall, I will give the gym flexers a 5 out of 10. The lamest and cringiest people are the ones who used to flex on social media. The people who used to flex social media are definitely the most attention-seeking people I've ever seen in my life. No one cares if you have a lot of followers. They thought that having the most followers meant they were special, and these people have the nerve to act like a celebrity. You could have known this person since you were in middle school, and he would not even follow your account back. They would leave you as a follower, like you're a fan. And the worst people are the girls on social media. The way these girls used to be attached to their phone, it felt like they were in the Matrix. And whenever you pull the cord, they will start getting more depressed than Anthony Soprano. They will constantly post about having a new boyfriend and the fact that they've been outside every day like the backyardigans. But overall, the people who flex on social media are the most daunted and deplorable people I've encountered. So I will give these people a 3 out of 10. Alright, that's gonna be it for this video. Tell me what the worst and what the best type of flexers are in the comment section below. In the meantime, if you want some more entertainment, you can watch any one of these videos, you know what I'm saying? You can watch any one of these videos. Alright, I'll see y'all boys in the next video. I love y'all. I'm out.